Coming up, the Leichhardt pool temperature saga drags on into its third year as connection of electric heaters misses deadlines announced by Ipswich City Council last year. Local resident Liz Tyndall-May joins the show after making her own complaints to Council about the amount of time it's taken to connect power. It's Wednesday, April 5, 2023, and I'm Alan Roebuck. Welcome to Ipswich Today, which acknowledges the traditional custodians of the land on which it is produced and pays respects to elders past, present and emerging. This podcast is supported by Kinetics, people-powered web hosting trusted by Australian businesses since 1999. Ipswich City Council proudly announced on the 10th of August last year that Leichhardt pool temperature would be increased to 32 degrees by the spring of 2022. In preparation for new electric heating, Council removed the old gas heaters last year before upgraded power was installed. 8 months later, Council is still waiting for power to be connected. In the meantime, according to a Council spokesperson, the temperature has remained in the 30 to 32 degree range heated by solar. Local resident Liz Tyndall-May is one of the many pool users who've been questioning Council about why gas heating could not have remained in situ until the upgraded power was available. Thanks for speaking with Ipswich Today, Liz.
Thanks, Alan.
The issue about the water temperature is a bit of a saga, and it just drags on, starting well before local resident Ken Alderton addressed Council in 2021 with his concerns. Now, before we talk about the issue more broadly, how has the lack of gas or electric heating directly affected your family?
Well, back in January, the middle of January, my daughter actually had to be removed from the pool after 10 minutes of being in there. She's 3 years old and she was in her learn to swim class. We had to take her out and then rush her home and put her in a warm shower. And then I later found out the next week that a teacher had actually passed out in the pool in November of last year because it was so cold. So I thought, look, do I report it or not? And I decided not to because I believed Council and I thought that these heaters must be here by now. And this has just been a bit of a mess since, really.
Council claimed in that same media release last year that gas was difficult to source. To me, that's a bit questionable. I still see everybody getting gas in their gas cylinders at home. But if it is true, Council has more than dragged its feet with the changes to electric. Now, you made your own inquiries as well. What have you found out about this delay since it was announced new heating would be on by last spring?
Well, there's 2 points I'd probably like to make is the fact that they've actually admitted, and I'll just read the sentence so I don't get it wrong. They said, Council acknowledges that the actions undertaken to remove the gas heaters in preparation for the electric heaters were premature. That's the first line that I like to note. And therefore, then after they submitted their application, I think it was August or September of last year, they then said to me that therefore each step in the process can take months. So for me, the main point was due diligence. First of all, we want these heaters on. They're saying it now the middle of April, which is great. We want the heaters on first, but I want them to actually review this and see if there was an issue with due diligence, because it can't be a surprise that you submit a form and then find out later that each step through the process is going to take months. And that was my issue.
Council said also in the statement to me that now expected the date is going to be the 13th of April for power to be connected.
Yes, I saw that. They're actually closing the pool, I believe, on the Thursday and reopening it on the Friday. So you would understand that the pool would need to be closed down for a day while they do all of their connections. We expected that at the end of last year. So that's the latest advice that I've received too. That also, Alan, you may notice yourself, I don't know, but I believe they're closing down the Rosewood and Lowood pool over the winter break. So Leichhardt is probably the closest pool that the Learn to Swim crew can actually come to. So they really do need to do this to actually service not just us residents here in Ipswich and Leichhardt, but also in the surrounding areas as well.
Let's go back to when Ken Alderton spoke to Council about the water temperature. It was set at 29 degrees, which council officers went to great lengths to say that was okay. However, councillors ultimately pushed back and voted to make it 32 degrees. Now, it's only 3 degrees. How important is that 3 degrees?
For lap swimmers, that's actually quite warm. So if you're doing laps all the time, like I've done laps, and I'm thinking this is actually a little bit warm. However, this pool is actually utilised by children, by elderly people, by people that actually use that and need that ramp in that pool. So they're actually just doing their exercises. So it is actually vital that those people that are just doing minimal exercise, but it's really important to them that they actually have a warm pool to go into and or not pass out in. And there was an argument also, I've been talking to a lot of people about this, and they say, look, remember the old days when you didn't have heaters, we all just suffered through. And that's the thing, it was suffering through. The heaters were there, they were taken away with no explanation, and they're still not there.
So you would dispute Council's claim that the temperature has remained on average 30 to 32 with solar heating?
I quietly smiled when I heard that. You surprised me with that, Alan, because I've actually got data in front of me from the pool workers to say that it's anywhere between 26 to 28 degrees, especially in November and December. The day that my daughter passed out, the day that the teacher passed out was actually 26 to 27, and when my daughter had to leave the pool abruptly, it was 27 to 28. They have just has the data there to show that. So, no, I dispute it. But I've been talking to council. They've closed my file. There's nothing I can do anymore. So it's just one of those things where I've tried my very best. I know and I've seen the data. And what else can I do? You're only good as the information that you get from council officers, aren't you, really?
That is correct. And I guess there's one other item that will remain in dispute forevermore, and that is the media release last August said the heaters would be on by spring, but the physical electric heaters weren't installed till December. So that was going to be an impossibility. So left hand not talking to right hand, or somebody's giving bad advice to the mayor and councillors?
No, I totally agree. And I really want them to learn some lessons from this. Let's put the heaters, let's connect the heaters on and get the pool running again. And then actually let's just go back and actually see what went wrong, because, something has gone wrong here. First of all, they shouldn't have turned it off, but, let's check this due diligence. I was actually reading the council minutes from 2021 and actually watching this quite closely myself. And I thought that the due diligence had been done on this. So we'll just see what happens.
Well, let's hope the silver lining is that the power actually is connected on the 13th of April. And I guess it'll take a few days to ramp up, to heat it up to 32. And you can get back in the pool, Liz.
I'd love to. And my daughter, I've got a 3-year-old and a 2-year-old, and they love to go back to that pool.
Liz Tyndall-May, thanks for speaking with Ipswich Today.
Thank you, Alan.
You'll find Ipswich City Council's full response to questions from Ipswich Today in the show notes. Ipswich Today is supported by Kinetics, people-powered web hosting trusted by Australian businesses since 1999. This podcast is also listener supported. Please make a once-only gift or regular donation to help keep it online. Just go to ipswichtoday.com.au and click the donate button on the homepage to make a payment through PayPal. Follow and stream this podcast from your favourite app, including iHeartRadio and Amazon Music. Or play Ipswich Today on smart speakers. Music is supplied by Purple Planet Music. This is Alan Roebuck. Thank you for listening.